do you sometimes feel as if what you're writing is constructed the same way as a song? Does it play out for you with a melody or a tune or something in your mind, or even lyrically?
Definitely. I mean, music's so important to what I do, and it's always on when I write, and I play a little bit, and I think about it a lot. So I think, I can't play songs when I write anymore because the lyrics get in the way,
Okay.
but instrumental music kind of undergirds the whole thing, and there have been times when I've written sentences that were meant to be calibrated exactly to a certain solo by John Coltrane or something. So to that extent, the music is in there and sort of affects the approach,
Right.
And I think a story like Boys is obviously keyed to sort of certain repetitive patterns of the kinds of music that I like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Actually, that brings me back to another question I had wanted to ask about Boys. Out of the, I guess, all the other stories that you've written, especially in smaller portions, what was it about Boys that made you want to read to us today? Was it your experimentation with flash fiction that kind of wanted to portray that not only are you a novelist but you have that ability, or is it?
No,
Was there
it's
any
just
other
a
reason?
really good story to read. People
Yeah.
like it. It's got all the tonal colors in a small space, so it's funny. It's emotionally challenging in some ways. So it's just a really good starter story, and I've read it many times, so it's easy to do.
Right. I recently saw The Ice Storm, and just to see it, get a feel for it, and I wanted to know how it was for you to go from seeing your piece, as a written piece of literature to the screen, and many people have commented differently. Nabokov hated seeing the screening of Lolita, and other, I'm sure other writers have felt the same way. How did you feel the portrayal of your novel was on screen?
I think once you let go of wanting the outcome to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible to have more enjoyment
Right.
with respect to the process. And I was in the hands of a really great director. So I just sort of said, it's not going to be the book, and it's impossible. It's apples and oranges anyway. I mean, you can't make a perfect adaptation. The things that are good about cinema are very different from the things that are good about contemporary literature. So there is no analog. And once you let go of wanting there to be an analog, it's possible to relax and enjoy yourself, So I found it uncanny in the strict sense of the word, because it was related to my book and not related to my book at the same time.
Right.
But I enjoyed it because it's a really good film, so
Yeah,
there isn't really anything to
enjoyable.
complain about,
I had interviewed Darcy Steinke here not too long ago, and she was, great. She was really just very easy to talk to, very, just enjoyable in general. I have a question, I guess, concerning your spiritual beliefs of sorts. Do you feel as if, or do you feel similar to how Darcy feels about, she feels as if she's a missionary of sorts, doing her part, but not exactly a militant or kind of, I guess, forward acting missionary. Do you feel as if your writing is similar? Do you have similar belief systems with Darcy Sankey, or?
Yeah, we're close on that stuff. I mean, that's why we did the book together, really.
Right.
In the literary community, it's so politically incorrect to have a spiritual life, and it's considered embarrassing. So it's hard and sometimes to be in our line of work and to talk about this stuff. It's not easy for me to talk about it, but I do feel like these questions are important, and in the old days, the religious left, if you will, had an important political function, especially during the civil rights period and women's suffrage and abolition of slavery and so on. And I feel like there's still stuff for the religious left to do, and it sort of dovetails with what I imagine I'm trying to do with my writing, because I think language is, a spiritual system of a kind. And so it's possible to feel like when I'm doing my job really well, I am evangelizing, but not in the sense of recommending to you a specific sect or approach, but making the case for the numinous and the things that are out there beyond just the hard and fast evolutionary rules of daily life. Yeah.
Okay. And do you sometimes feel as if, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, somehow or another that what you're writing is less of you and more of a deity or more of a greater purpose kind of coming through you without you really being conscious of it? Or
I hope. I mean, one never
Right.
knows. I mean, I could be hopelessly deluded about what I'm doing, but that would be some of the idea.
Right.
Yeah. I aspire to it.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate again you coming. It was really nice to meet you and to get to speak with you. And thank you for everything.
Right.